thought that I wanted to portray within the play of how difficult and how stuck everybody was. For whatever reasons, in another situation, another time, people may have thought differently. But we were talking about that situation, the riots going on, Hindu-Muslim riots going on, a lot of people being killed, people just, Nehru, Maulana Azad, Gandhi, feeling totally stuck in that situation and not knowing how to resolve it. That partition at that time seemed like the only way out. And as we know, Gandhiji was so reluctant to give in to that, but finally he did. He could have fasted and stood against it in the end, but perhaps he also realized the necessity somewhere in that moment.
And we live with the consequences of that every day, right?
Yes.
In the region and in our lives.
Absolutely.
So how do you think that that period and that partition does continue to affect us, kind of not just politically but socially, and how we see ourselves as Indians or Pakistanis or South Asians, whatever term you wish to use?
I think we haven't, as Indians, really addressed the history of that time. And it's only more recently that people have really started writing about it and analyzing this information and really putting it together, or what that period meant for us as people, as leaders, and who made decisions. So there is a lot of blaming and, controversies going on in India today than they were 20 years ago.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And I think probably it's the trauma of the partition itself that was so horrible and horrendous on the whole populations in two countries that we've sort of buried it for the longest time. And it's only generations away now that we are able to really objectively sort of look at it. I think for years we just took what Gandhiji or Nehru decided and granted that it was the best decision made.
But now there are more questions.
But now there are more questions. We are looking at history differently, and we would like to get away from blame. I think the effort of the play also is to not think in terms of blaming people, but to assess the complexity of the situation.
So how did you get involved in this play, Dr. Gandhi? Having never acted before, now you're playing Gandhi on stage. How did that happen?
It was sheer accident. I once ran into Amita at a community theater, and she told me that she was working on a play on Indian partition and Gandhi, Jinnah and Nehru. And I volunteered to read the play, and I found it fascinating. And I said I would be delighted to help in whichever way I can. And she suggested, I think quite wisely, how about playing Gandhi? And as you can see, I'm eminently qualified by my name, by my face, by my head, and my lifelong fascination with Gandhi. And it is a fascinating experience to act. And I have renewed respect and admiration for those who act. Now that I am trying to be one.
So what would you say is the most challenging part about acting?
Most challenging part is to remember the lines at the right time, and then provide that with an emotion. Because this play involves a great deal of emotion in a very passionate discussion among various actors. They are all devoted their lives to Indian independence movement. They were all devoted to making sure that India remains whole, and then come to a conclusion that it has to be partitioned.
Right.
And we know what happened at the partition. Millions died, and many more millions forced into migration.
So there's a lot of pain for your character and the other characters in the play.
Absolutely.
I imagine, Dr. Jha, that there's more to your chance meeting with Dr. Gandhi than he is letting on. Can you tell us more about that?
No, actually, there's not more to the chance meeting. Everything else came later after that. After the chance meeting, yes, he was very interested in the material and offered the help, which was great. And as we talked more and more, And I sort of looked at him more, but he just fits the part.
Of course, as you just
And,
said.
he was willing to take on the challenge of being on stage and acting, just because I think he didn't know what it meant really to learn all that, what it would take to really do it. But
And
he's really...
How large is your cast and your crew for this production?
So the cast is about 9 characters,
Okay.
Which includes the major Indian leaders and Mountbatten, Viceroy Mountbatten, and Viceroy Wavell.
Okay, so you have the
So
British
2
characters.
British characters and 6 Indian main characters.
Wonderful.
And then we have rest of our support, wonderful volunteers who are helping and making this production come alive.
Okay. If there was one thing, Dr. Gandhi, that you would like people to take away after seeing this play, A Tryst with Destiny, what would that be?
It would be that the message here is that we must learn to live together despite all our differences. Unless we do that, the extreme result would be the kind of the Holocaust bloodbath that India and Pakistan went through in division of the country.
And Dr. Jha, the same question for you. What would you like people to take away from this play that you have written and directed?
I think my goal would be that people would not judge their own history in terms of just sheer Hindu-Muslim sentiment, but be able to look at it as more of community issues, the religious issues. And I think I want people to think about the complexity of human beings living together and what it takes, the give and take that's needed for peace.
Wow, such incredibly powerful messages. We're all very much looking forward to seeing A Tryst with Destiny. It will be August 13th and 14th at 4 p.m. at the Jewish Community Center in Rockville, Maryland. On the eve of Indian Independence Day, which is August 15th, we have an opportunity to go back in time and learn more about 2 great leaders, Nehru and Gandhi. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this with us.
Thank you.